Hello, and welcome to this developer stream of Trolls vs. Vikings Reborn. Do some introductions?
Yeah, my name is Jørgen, Tharaldsen. I work as the game director on the title. Been working on it for, not on it all the time, but for 12 years since we started making Trolls vs. Vikings in the first place. I've been doing games now for more than 30 years, and yeah, this is a big passion project for us, so hope to show you more from the game today.
I'm Sophia. I'm doing the community management and some of the marketing for the game. Also very passionate about games. More than 3 years experience.
Yeah. You got gray hair, so they call it wisdom, huh? Or have made many mistakes, depending on. So yeah.
So today for this developer stream, we're going to show you a bit from Trolls vs. Vikings Reborn. Some of you might remember it from your iPhones or Samsungs from about 10 years back.
Yeah.
When this game originally released. This is a complete remaster with some new additions from the original. And today we're going to show you some of the starting stages and then some of the brutal hardcore stages.
Yeah. We added a lot of new content to it. So we had a complete revamp of the whole game. And we're going to go through it and show it. I mean, there's a long list. So when we wanted to release it, we didn't want it to be a cheap port. We wanted it to be a fully fledged, all new experience catering to the Steam hardcore community, which we as a company are way more aligned for than mobile games. And what we hope to show today is that. So yeah.
So obviously we have everything unlocked here. Let's jump into the first level.
We are in Midgard, home of Trolls and Vikings. And in this game you play as the peace-loving Trolls that are invaded by the Vikings looking for gold. There's a storytelling element going throughout the entire game. The Nordic gods are involved, the Trolls are involved, and the Vikings and the Dwarves, and the whole plethora of storytelling aspects that come out of our culture pretty much in Norway. I mean, Trolls and Vikings are us. So that was one of the ideas, to work with our own culture and lore, and the other was to actually put the Trolls as the good guys and the heroes of the game. It's a resource-based games. I mean, all of you are going to see what this game looks like, right? It looks like Plants vs. Zombies. So I think that you start out by having a resource builder. His name is Haug. So he mines for moonstone, which is the basic resource of the game. If you look on the upper part of it, it's spells that you can use on everything else. On the left, you have the available trolls that you can place out. This is a guy called Buster. He's the leader of the Troll Liberation Front, really taking the resistance against the Vikings. A pretty unique character. We actually changed him a bit for the Reborn. He used to walk around the level. He can heal.
And his signature ability is jumping between lanes.
Yeah, exactly. So you can jump him all over the playfield. So as he heals as well, he's a highly tactical unit. If you have 2 of them in tandem or 4 of them, depending on how you do it, there's a lot of stuff you can do. You just place Shy. Shy is a troll that likes to dig down and drags the Vikings to their doom. Then you have Punk, basic DPS shooter, one damage or 1 bullet, and it's good to get up a plethora of basic resource wielders. And here we are on normal difficulty. So no problems at all.
No problems at all. So this is the first stage of the game on the easiest difficulty of the game. So very simple, very easy, very manageable.
Yeah. And you see there's a play button on the upper right. You can also double. This is new for the Reborn edition as well. You can double the speed. So you can just breeze past the early game if you like to, or if you're up for it, you can play the game on double speed in itself. This is Sap. So Sap is one of the 2 shamans in the game. You can direct his lightning. He can hit 1-on-1, or he can also hit multiple, so it has an AoE effect if you stack up multiple Vikings. Super effective. There's even there's an achievement in the game where you have to sap 5 Vikings at the same time. You're definitely going to get to that. So you can use Buster as a tank to gang up Vikings, and then in tandem with Sap you can nuke a lot of the a lot of the Vikings that way. Doing pretty good, Sophia.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this is the first level of the game. So I think that everything is nice and cozy. There's flowers. Klaus is coming in, the horn bearer. Pretty easy unit. His main role is just to, you know, say the Vikings are coming or the waves are coming. He's a wave guy. And here it's fairly easy to build up a basic structure. You see Drake. He's the fire-spouting dragon, son of the Midgard worm, and he's also tied into the story. After your level, you see how you did. It sums up. What, spell level, perhaps? Yep. Number 2. It's an introduction to the spells. So Sophia got one of my save games where everything, more or less everything is unlocked. So as a player, you would get 1-on-1 level and one of these unlocked. The first time you meet Loki, he introduces himself to the player as a helpful character to the trolls. And of course, Loki being Loki, there's going to be mischief later on. He actually tricked us with the first game as well. He tricked us into making it into a free-to-play game for mobile. We went straight on the linchpin there, and now we saw his deceit and lies and stepped back on that, actually. So now it's a fully fledged premium game, which has been a pleasure to develop, actually.
So the second stage is a great introduction to the spells of the game, which are very, very handy ways to easily clear out a bunch of Vikings, and especially really great in the early game to get your resources set up, and also great late game if you have a lot of enemies and you're threatening to get overwhelmed.
Yeah. I mean, the whole spell system is revamped for the Reborn. I mean, when it was on mobiles, it had a gold cost to buy many of them, and there was a drop rate on them. Now there are X amount of spells that you get for free, with a cooldown on instead, and it's tied to a shard system. I'm going to show you that later on. So you have a cap on how many spells and which kind of spells you have, and then you have to balance that against the challenge you are currently in. You see there are AoE or single drops, or there's a variety. You also see a troll on the upper left there. He's called Guard. So he's like a last defense. He's one of the trolls you can unlock with a shard system. And I actively use him for especially build-up phase, because he's going to wipe out some early units for you, or even save you. He takes out the entire last row, and you're definitely going to need having him as you progress through the game. Good play, Sophia. Klaus! No! And I think we, on purpose, we try to have a lot of mischief in humor and comics in this game. We would definitely take gameplay seriously. I mean, comparing it to like a super active chessboard. I mean, I play chess every day, and I loved Plants vs Zombies in the old days, especially number 1. And I think that we wanted to just, mix these kind of like super gameplay active focus. So you see that there's no kidding around on the gameplay here. Always something happening, always activity, always interactivity. I think that was when we separated ourselves the most from the Plants game in the first place. And I think that was really, really well received as well. So I think we had a 1.3 million gamers or something on this game so far. So a lot of people have really enjoyed it, and now I think it has become what I really wanted it to be initially. Get the spell level. When you're a new beginner, that's going to be the first time you get access to spells. A lot of these early levels is just going to be about giving you new units, so to speak. Here we are. You don't have all the trolls, but many of them.
We'll show the more advanced levels a little later. For now, we're just showing off the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
So seeing some tutorials here, Shy, which was mentioned in the previous level. Seeing Shy in action again in this little tutorial. Very useful.
Yeah. I think that because the game has been out, I mean, we had it out on PC, on mobiles, on MISC platforms, right? And in the beginning, we really tuned the game way too hard. I mean, it was a lot of fun for us and hardcore gamers. We got a lot of praise for that. But on the mobiles, we had to tune down the difficulty quite a lot. So we actually spent years tuning down the difficulty or balancing it to more casual players. And that's the experience you're going to get in the normal level. super casual, should be fun for everybody. Kids, adults, everybody who enjoys these type of games should be able to complete that element of the game and have fun with it, and also experiment with various setups for how they wanna play it. There's gonna be, as you progress here now, you're gonna see lots of different levels, right? So it means that at its heart, it looks very casual, but if you're playing it during the Steam Fest and you get to the hard levels, and you're not going to get into too many brutal levels at this fest or demo, you'll definitely see that there's some massive challenges for you.
Yeah, so even on the earliest stages in the game, the jump up to brutal or even hard is quite extensive.
Yeah. I mean, we want to take the players seriously, right? So I think we're hardcore gamers ourselves. I mean, I play games hours a day. I've been doing that pretty much all my life. So this is a game that really takes the player seriously. Like I said, we didn't want to go in the too deep of a casual trap with this game, but rather give you a lot of control. There's a lot of stats. There's a lot of it doesn't look like it, right? It looks like cute and nice and fancy, but as you get deeper into the game, you understand everything from distance to directions to heals to position, using tanks, using all kinds of different blockers. All these things actually work in tandem, and as we throw different challenges on you on different levels, you're going to actively have to apply a lot of different tactics.
And you'll see later on that these are things that you need to learn if you're going to complete some of the more advanced levels in the game.
Yeah.
Because they get very difficult. It might not look like it at this point, but there's not that many Vikings. Everything here is very manageable.
And yeah,
it'll get there.
Yeah, and you see that, like you see, she's the sister of she's the daughter of the Midgard Serpent as well. The sister of Drake. She spews acid. Very effective against armor and armored shields. Not that effective against other things. She's also effective against, she can do both flying units that you're going to meet eventually and ground units. And you're going to use her because she doesn't have a high rate of power or high rate of fire. So you're going to use her on very specific type of challenges. So you're going to see that there's a mix of units that you're going to use for different levels here. The art director on this game is Mikael Noguchi. I think he really nailed like the comic style. Everything here is hand drawn. We got a new animator. I mean, we had Voya was the animator originally. Now we got Aslak as an animator, and we shifted out all of the Vikings pretty much. They wanted a bit more powerful, a bit more heavy, but still with that hand drawn look. So no AI here. No, I mean, we actually wanted it to look very cartoony and hand draw and almost like a comic. So we're mixing a bit of different technologies to make that happen. So yeah.
I jump into the second spell stage here. Do you want to talk about the history behind the game? What made?
Yeah, I think that I was working in Funcom for many years, and I started playing. I heard about Plants vs Zombies when it came along, and I started playing it, and I fell in love with it like right away. And I kind of get addicted to games, so I got super addicted to this game, and I started playing it competitively actually against the leaderboards they put up. So I played it a lot, and then eventually I left Funcom with a couple of other people from there, and we were going to do mobile because we felt that was a platform that was coming along. And we felt that this was a game that hadn't been done on mobile except Plants. And we had a lot of new ideas for it, and we set out to do it. We were a team of 5 people at the time. We attracted quite a lot of freelancers and stuff for music and story and all these things. And just 3 months into production, we showed it for the first time, actually. So the goal was to create something that was inspired by Plants, but different. So a lot of people look at our screenshot and like, oh, that's just like Plant, but it plays very differently. And I think that was the inspiration for the game, and that was the basic setup as well. But we wanted to create something on our own. So we took our own history, our own lore, our own background, our own settings, the whole Norwegian, Swedish, Danish universe. put that into it, and had a pretty clear vision for the game right away, I think. So that was rather quick. We got it quickly up to prototypes, quickly up to gameplay. The movable units like Buster that you see today, he was walking in the former version of the game, now jumping. That was something that just came along during development. Christian, one of the coders, came up with that, and it's like, what if we make him move? So it was a rather typical game production. We had a vision, we had a plan, we had an art director, we had a start, and then we just tweaked and tuned the game as we progressed with it. And I think that we one of the plant's producers asked me out for lunch when I went visiting Finland once. Just told me that I asked everybody on that team to play it as an inspiration for further games along on their path. But I think that what we try to do here is to stay true to our own vision of what a lane defense game can be. I mean, now 12 years later with a new game, I'm actually surprised there hasn't been more lane defense type games, because they're kind of fun to play. There's obviously a lot of tactics games out there, which has turned into a super popular genre. For some seconds, some minutes, we actually considered whether this should be a tactic type game as well, and we discarded it and went for the lane movable stuff instead. So I'm actually a bit surprised that this hasn't been used more. I don't know why that is. Maybe because Plants has been so dominant, could be. Or maybe tactics has been more popular as a concept, from Final Fantasy onwards and tons of other games.
I definitely think there's a lot of potential in this specific lane defense genre, and I think this game utilizes that really well in a unique way.
Yeah, this is the drunk Viking, the lane shifter. He's actually rather tricky because you see he has we call him Evan Kegger. Yes, of course. No, we can't say that as bear. That goes against the rating. He has the Viking fluids in his keggers, and he's actually
Grape juice.
Grape juice. Yeah. And mead, grape juice mead. I mean, he's a good example of a unit. I don't know if he comes back now, but if you use sap on him, you're not actually going to kill him. You're just going to take out his mead. And if you use sap, the lightning on him, the same thing. You actually have to attack him in front. If you don't do that, you'll spend an attack on faulty, which can sometimes be a bit difficult because you think you take him out, but he's actually changing lane and coming in the midst of what you're doing. One of the more complicated units, actually, especially when
again.
There he comes. So he should chain lane just about now, I think. Oh, you'll kill him before he gets to it. So yeah, he will die. Oh, there he goes.
There he goes.
Bang. Yeah. So I think that we try to make all the units, both the Vikings and the Trolls, have a lot of depth in themselves, like these small nuances of what they can do. How are they reacting? Do they have parts that can fall off? Do they have different kind of armors? Is it different kind of, let's call it cloth? What kind of units are what's the counter against this unit? Most everything can work against everything, but some things are more efficient than others, and this is something the player will actually need to learn to complete the harder levels.
Yeah, because I imagine on the earlier levels here, as you see, I'm running the same setup, which is working pretty fine.
Yeah.
But it's the earlier, easier levels, and the harder it gets, the more variety of Vikings, the more powerful Vikings.
Flip that to a brutal difficulty level eventually, and then you will see that you actually have to think differently.
Yeah, so we have... you want to jump into the brutal levels now?
I can jump into the game. I can just play a bit different. I mean, not swap. I'm not saying like you, Sophia, because I've played this game a lot.
I'm very fresh to playing this game.
Yeah, so I'm just going to show you a bit of overview of the game. So this is Midgard stuff. So up here you have the Eternal Valhalla levels.
Yep.
They just keep on going. I'm actually on level 51 there now. You have the winter levels. This is where you're going to fight Odin. The theme of the winter levels is the Einherjar. The dead Vikings that rise and comes back. There's also a lot of boss fights and a lot of mini bosses that comes in during these levels. You have I call it autumn, but it's called, I actually don't remember, I just call it autumn. And here the focus is on more movable units, more stilts, more rocks comes into play, there's marshes, the levels start breaking up in a lot of different ways, a lot more challenges coming on you as a player. We have the Berserker, we have the Wolf Vikings, and others kind of making it more complicated. And this is the forest level, which is nice and cozy, learning the game, getting to the gist of it. In here you have how far you got to Valhalla. Here you have the shard system. So we ripped out everything that has anything to do with free-to-play. Everything is now available through just gameplay. And the shards are where you actually unlock trolls. Completing one level equals one shard. And you need, let's say, 5 shards to get one more extra spells. So you can unlock more trolls, more spells, more heals, quality of life stuff like a bit more moonstone at the start of a level. You will never get enough shards to unlock everything, and it's likely that you need to respec before certain matches to set up a different power outlet.
So imagine some of the later brutal levels will require... it'll help you greatly if you have specific setups on your tokens.
You have to, or you don't have to. I mean, I played in all kinds of different ways just to make sure that it is possible to complete, or we have. I mean, Thor, the lead designer, and I. And you can get some favorites as well. But I think that this system actually works really well. It has that depth where you can actually. You have, as you play through normal, you're going to get more spells, more power, and you actually need more power as you get through it. So it should be a nice push and shove with the player in terms of how much do you have accessible, and the player is likely to respec more in the beginning as well, just to make sure I want an extra troll, I want more spells. It's your choice.
And you can respec for free anytime you want.
Yeah. And here, well, the graphics is coming in, it's actually done. I'm not going to show that to you now, but here are the special campaigns. So we added about 40 new levels in here across 3 difficulties. So in total, there's about 80 new levels in the game now, and the brutal difficulty is the first time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's not to mention the Valhalla levels, which go on forever.
Yeah. So I mean, there's hundreds of levels in here. Yeah. This is an achievement system or levels. It's some of them are drastically changing how you play, so they ask you to like kill the first Viking last and stuff like that, so you need to adapt certain tactics to unlock them. I think that all of them are going to take quite a lot for you to achieve. I'm going to be super impressed if any player actually achieves all these achievements. I have, but this is not easy. Some of them, but a lot of them are fun. So I hope people like it, and that we can just keep on making more achievements and new ways to play the game in the future.
Especially the survive 50 levels of Valhalla that has to take forever. It took me like 4 evenings to get there, but it's going to be complicated for the player for sure. I'm going to go into the Valhalla level later on. So I think I'm gonna just enter a random going in on hard here now. Yep. So we got a lot of complaints and praise for the difficulty of Trolls in hard. So people who love it say, it's best tower defense game I ever played. I love the difficulty, love that we challenge the player. Others was like, what the fuck? What is this? And I think that this is the... and I actually, for myself, I just like to play the game in different ways. So now we're going to go in hard. I'm not going to play on... I have no cheap units. Let's see if I can survive this. I'm going to try. And you'll see that I play on double speed. That's the first thing I talked to the team about. We need double speed. So most players will always play on this speed we're seeing right now. And I think we're just going to speed this up quite a bit. As you saw earlier too, I swapped the double speed for a brief moment and almost got overwhelmed immediately. So it's definitely a skill to learn as well to play. And
putting the dwarf up, he's a nice movable unit as well. He doesn't heal, by the way, so you have to stay in power. You see that I know this game quite well, so I'm able to pre-see what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. The goal for me is to get up a line of resources at the moment, And I love this guy. He's AoE, very efficient, but I'm still going to use a bit of... so you see that I used to... So now I see there are 4 units on the screen. I know this guy's coming over here. I'm probably going to do something like this. So I'm playing a bit fast here. And here I just use spells in the beginning just to clear the playfield and be able to build up my economy. Yeah. I think that's a key thing. On hard, it's not going to be that challenging for me at the moment, because I know what's going to happen. But I think even playing at the speed I'm doing now is probably going to be a bit challenging for many of the players. This is Hildur. She lobs off her head, of course, like any good troll would do, which is sufficient for hitting behind shields, for instance. In this case, the shield has also armor, which means, oh, spear. No, I don't like that. Here I took 2 Vikings at the same time, and you see the spears, they are actually penetrating multiple trolls at the same time. So you need to consider what kind of... so let's see here, I'm going to put up, let's say here, Sap is not going to give a lot of resistance, and it's going to show you, and now he's going to take out both of them at the same time. They're actually really cumbersome to meet, especially when they're armored, and now I think, yeah, he just took them out for me. I think that I really love the how much is happening on the screen, all these small battles at different places. I mean, reminds me personally a lot of chess. There's a lot of activities, a lot of things you can reach all over the board with. So you
have to constantly be aware of the full board. You can't focus on one area. You need to constantly be aware, constantly pay attention to what's going on where. And the thing I'd like to point out too is this is still in the first world, and just comparatively, look how many Vikings are on hard mode compared to normal mode. Still on one of the first worlds.
Yeah. I mean, there's we don't spare anything here.
No.
I think that it's we've seen on some of the testers now that probably brutal is going to be a challenge for many. But it's like that with any game, right? So you're not going to move to the hardest levels right away. This would be an example of a hard level. So I can try to do one of these levels on brutal. Let's see how I'm faring now. Let's see how long I can play double speed. I'm not quite sure I can do that all the time. And here I'm actually have to start thinking more. So I would check out the Vikings coming against me. So I'm seeing quite a lot of armor coming against me. I like AoE units like Fuse. I can take a lot of damage across 3 lanes. So I'm trying to have a tactic around the fact that I can do multiple at the same time. Yep. He's quite expensive, one of the more expensive units in the game. So I'm going to need a good economy up. I like Buster because he's movable. I like Sap. I can put the other ones just for fun, and let's see how that is. So now things are going to come on me a lot faster. The economy is going to be harder to get up, but still not impossible because we're still in the forest area, right? So this is still one of the easier part of it. I'm going to take this one. Whoop. Nice one. And I'm going to try to actually reduce the amount of lanes that the hacks are now available in. I'm going to use some stuff like that in the beginning, because they're going to come at me at multiple lanes at the same time, and I have a higher chance here of actually defending. I'm going to go back. I need some heal here. You see I take 2 of them at the same time, and I know the capability of many of them. So now I'm actually just setting up for having a well-defended lane, if I can. And here you see that I'm already on the back burner, because I now picked... I'm going to go down slow speed. I now picked rather expensive units, so I want to get up these, high DPS, like this one with 2. But right now I'm choosing just expensive units, so it'll take me longer to get them up. So what I'm doing now is just fighting to get my base lineup, base DPS up and running. So now I want to have more ranged, and this is my key goal at the moment, just to get more power up. And you see that the spells are on cooldown. So over here I'm actually in danger of being run over, as you can see. And especially with the And now I'm gonna take him. I know he's taking a lot of damage now. I'm gonna take him out to heal. I'm gonna take that one and that one. Okay, I have my first unit down like that. So you see, right now even for me, and now I have I have 2 shots back here, right? So now I can actually build an economy around them. I know they're fairly well defended. With the busters, I just lost 2 of them, but they're starting healing now. And now I can jump him around, you know, stopping him so that the spear doesn't come in here and actually destroy my resources. He's strong enough to take 1 basic Viking, and now I'm gonna start using 2 busters on him. It's an efficient tactic for me. And then I just take one of them out to heal and use them in tandem. Oh, I missed. Like that.
Which again was also what we were talking about earlier with the way the game flows of establishing your baseline and then managing all the battles with that baseline while continuing to build.
Exactly.
So,
and especially on brutal and also on hard, you're gonna experience that many of our trolls will die. I mean, there's no way around it, there are ways around it, but then you have to be really careful on how you play. Okay, I just got stunned. So there's Wolfgang, we call him, of course. He also has area effects. He can buff all the Vikings around him and make them more powerful and quicker. Here, ranged. Okay, so now you see range coming in. I now actually have to jump in and watch them coming in. I just stopped her range attack now. So now I know that there are ranged archers. So now I'm going to jump forward, block the attack. Otherwise, I'm going to have havoc on my backline. So you see here, I did not stop her. And 3 arrows is actually going to take down this unit altogether. Force up. But if I jump up to her, I'm going to block her range attacks. And so I actually have to watch what's coming in and be at the front lines as well.
Which I really enjoy that about seeing this, that you can't just sit and set up units in the back on the higher difficulties. You need to actually be aggressive as well and defend properly.
You have to. But now I see that my economy is up, right? So so right now I have massive damage going on. So right now there's very little. I can go back to double speed again. There's very little that in this level, that is a 4th level. There's very little they can do that will hinder my chance to actually win the game.
The defenses have now become so strong on the troll side that there's very little the Vikings can do.
So here I would get a new shard, I would get a new chance, I can see how many I killed, maybe I went for an achievement, and when I achieve all 3 difficulties, it turns to gold, and it opens up a new level. I'm gonna try to.
It turns from green to orange to gold.
I don't remember. No. It's red. I don't know. It's red.
It turns to gold when you beat it on blue.
Yeah, red turns to gold. But I don't remember there's a middle color. No, red or gold.
You have to beat them in order, or do you unlock all the difficulties right away?
The first time you play the game, you actually have to take 1 and 1 in order.
Yep.
But you can go on all the difficulties straight away. But it's going to be very hard for you to do brutal levels without the unlock. So the first time you enter the game, you are on level 1, and you have to do level by level, 34 campaign levels. And then when you do that, you will unlock Valhalla, but the special missions are available.
Yeah.
So here I can do a special mission, for instance, Day of the Dead. Let's do that on the UI. Is not done here by yet. It will be done by the time you use it. And here we are on the winter level. I play on hard difficulty. Should be fairly complicated, but not too hard. And now let's go for a cheap setup. I'm going to go for the cheapest possible units just to show you how that is setting up a game. That is also an efficient way of doing it, where I'm just going to have economy doesn't need to be that high rigged.
No.
So I'm going to get damage out on rather cheap units. Always starts with a hack though. So and there's a lot of work on the voices of these and personalities, and you'll hear it as you play. It has a hard D when he. So what I'm doing here, I always try to get at least 3-4 hacks up if I can. just to get the economy going. It means sometimes I'm forfeiting actually placing 9 units. I know I'm going to have about 5 tiles before he's down, so now I'm going to match him up with the Buster. And now you see I'm playing on... he just came back. So the concept of this is the Einherjar. It's the mythology of our mythology pretty much, where Vikings can come back from the dead. Could be an inspiration for zombies for all I know. They call Einherjar, and they're said to be on the battlefield after, they come back. And here they will respawn here on this particular challenge. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna go in slow. Fuck! Okay, I have guard there. I'm just gonna let him walk in now. Because now you see that every single unit is respawning. Oh, fuck. Guard is used up. I have to spell it like this. At this stage, I'm only having cheap units. The lowest possible. What I want to do now is get up a back lane here with some damage going out. But every single Viking in this special campaign are gonna revive.
So it seems like sap still kills them, like completely disintegrates them.
Yeah, so some do.
That would...
Yeah. So Shy would bring them to their doom. They're gone. Sap and also those who incinerate them.
Yeah.
So still there are some ways to really kill dead people.
Yeah, so a lot to think about when you're building your loadout for this level, knowing what you're going to be up against.
Yeah, and I think that it's kind of messy. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm gonna have multiple shots. I know that these are safe because I had enough damage. The only unpredictable thing is I must have enough health for Buster to take them when they respawn. So right now I'm actually faring rather well. And you see with Zap I'm gonna do multiples, two gone. But the cooldown on Zap, there's only a limit on how many you can get up during a level.
Yeah.
So you can't build them as fast as you like. You actually have to wait for them to build, and that's also an important part of the game.
And Sap, of course, when he's on the stage, also uses quite a bit of time before he's ready to Sap again.
Exactly. So, and I think we really try to balance. We spent a lot of time balancing this. We really want it to be fine-tuned, and it was never a goal for us to make the player, OP or feel too powerful. It was more of and we control that a lot through the what's spawning, right? So yeah. And I actually really enjoy playing on double speed. I don't know, I've been playing this game a couple of hundred hours, sitting on double speed, so I'm getting used to it right now. It's going to take you a while as a player before you are getting to this stage, I presume. So here again, I'm trying to get up an economy. I'm going to use... I have to take him away before you see that all the trolls have damage states. You also see that the communication, in the beginning we had health hit points and stuff like that. I wonder if it's actually, it used to be a toggle where you could see what kind of damage coming out of the units, but then we decided to cloak all of it and rather bring it to a pure visual feedback.
Yeah.
So all the faces are changes. You see that the decals are changing on the units,
which personally I think really works as well, because then you have to kind of learn when a unit is close to dying. You have to learn the threshold, how much damage they can take, and kind of pay attention to your units.
Exactly.
And because there are so many units, I feel like if there were health bars too, it would be very cluttered and take up a lot of the space off the units.
Yeah. So this would typically be how a lot of tower defense games, or depending on how you look at it, are solving damage, but we want it to be a pure visual communication. Yeah. And yeah, that's what we did.
So what are we at here?
We have a boss. The first boss you're meeting, Eric the Red. So they are of course tied to the overall story. You're gonna meet Eric the Red. You're gonna meet Thor, Odin, Loki, and actually fight against some of the gods. We're gonna do some matches on that now. So Eric is more like a entry-level boss. I had multiple rounds with Thor, the lead designer on this, and not the Thor the god.
Could be both.
Could be both. Maybe
both.
Maybe both.
Loki's influence on the game, so it could be.
Could be. Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
That's trippy. So, and you see Emma, the main heroine, the troll, that actually really wants peace still. She believes peace is possible. She doesn't understand what Loki is doing, and here Loki actually comes in and helps the trolls, or so they feel like. You see Eric here and his entourage. Right now I pick brutal difficulty. This is actually a rather difficult level, so I hope I'm gonna be able to finish it.
I fought against Eric on hard when I was testing out some stuff for this game, and I beat him, but I struggled. So I'm very curious to see what it's like on brutal.
So the bosses are in general really powerful. They have all kinds of tricks and stuff. So and they will wipe out your trolls. So on the boss fights, I often go for more lean, cheap kind of tactics, because as they're wiped out, I want to replace them. I want to have some range stuff, and I want to have this guy's stuns, so he's also able to stop certain attacks. And here I'm more on like a defensive, cheap kind of tactic. Because it will help me in the end game of this encounter.
Because I really enjoy boss fights in these types of games, because normally your units are powerful enough to wipe out a lot of the more fodder type enemies. So having one big threat that can both dish out a lot of damage and will also take a lot of damage before they go down really makes you think differently about how you approach these levels.
And Eric is kind of straightforward in a sense, you know, he's a brute. And you're going to meet like multiple Eric type mini bosses, especially if you get to winter as well, where we kind of reused. So you're gonna see variants of him now and later. Again, I'm starting like every level I start out. But now I don't want the hacks on the back lane, because I want to have DP, or I want to have damage on the back lane here. And this is funny. I remember this was a pun where here we go. And now I just wanna I want to get up a basic economy. It's gonna get tough pretty fast here, as you can see. So now they're just leather-based Vikings for now, so I think that I can pick up many of them. This guy is not too efficient, and now there's clouds coming, and this is a joke. So we wanted we wanted to show that it's brutal, and now he's gonna go hunt down Vikings in one-on-one lane. So if I don't do that, the game will actually end. So if I didn't put a blocker for him here, he would walk to the end of the level, and it would be over. So you actually have to put some resistance there. Okay. I'm gonna go down to slower. So you see now already, I'm in deep trouble already. I think I talked too much and played too little. And now I want to him over there. I should be able to get a recall here. Will I get a recall? No. Then I will actually sell him. It's possible to sell units as well. Now I just wanted to go through and die all at the same time from guard, and then I have this guy. So then you saw and I want to have a now actually losing my resources. You see, I have to rebuild my resources. I'm not able to get a DPS up, or like a basic defense line. That means actually what's coming against me is stronger than what I'm able to protect against. I'm actually in deep trouble right now. Let's see if I can save it. I'm not quite sure actually. I'm gonna try. You see, I'm running out of spells. I used up the spells I had. I'm gonna use this as a bait because it will heal again. And all I want to do now is I want to get some damage here. This is my key thing right now. So I have some DPS going. You see that the rocks are blocking against anything, and you see the spears. I lost 3 of my units. I think I'm actually going to lose this level. The way it feels like right now.
And as you can see too with the spells, Eric's not really affected by them all that much.
No.
Which is a really...
You see the health bar at the lower there. I can do this. I can. Yeah, he walked away. So right now, actually, I'm going to lose this level. I'm going to start over again. I'm going to be a bit more careful this time. And this is what brutal in Trolls vs. Viking Reborn is like.
Yeah.
You know, it takes all your attention. You really have to think. The parameters are changing ongoing all the time, and you actually have to be on your mark. and use all the tactics and strategies and units together. So
Let's try it again.
let's try again. So and this is going to be the awkward stuff if I can't do it, right? So no. Okay, do I have the right units? I'm gonna swap out. This is more preemptive. Let's go for it. So yeah, I'm gonna use almost the same setup, but now I choose a shy, so I have some ability to drag down units faster. It will help take away some of the Vikings in the beginning. I'm gonna show you. So at least the 2-3 first Vikings, I can use a drag down tactic around. I'm building a bit more in the same lane, so it's easier for me to defend that one lane. The second I saw a Viking come out, I'm going to put a shy down. I don't want to put it on the last lane because that will trigger guard. So I want that, but I wanted him to have a long runway, so I know how I can plan the rest of the match. Right now, you see I can place a punk, but I choose to wait anyhow because I see it's a leather Viking, so I will take him. So I actually use my resources like this, and in theory he should die before he gets to me. So now I have 4 resources up, I have 1 shooter, and now it's just a matter of getting more range quickly. I will start putting some shields for myself up here pretty much. Now let's see. Now he will heal again, so I'm gonna let him take the damage. He'll go back again. So now I use him actively. He heals again quite fast, which means that now
It looked like Loki did something too.
yeah, he heals me.
Yes.
So he pretends to be on the troll side, right? So he's our friend. And then it turns out, of course, he has his own cake to bake or whatever you call it.
His own agenda.
He has his own agenda. So his real agenda, I mean, it's not that deep. It's bringing down Ragnarok. And now I'm gonna okay, like that. You see that I'm building up. I'm not that active on the front lines right now. I'm trying to build like a defensive strategy. I have to actually. Here's a shield Viking. He's going to be really hard to take down, so I'll put down a shy. I jump behind him so he doesn't start attacking. And you see that more and more armor is now coming. They're way more powerful. I'm going to taunt. Oh, I didn't have enough health, so he actually killed me. And now I'm going to try slowly to get up. I'm waiting for that. Okay, like that. And I'm building more and more on the back burner. I'm using up a lot of my spells here, as you see. It's fine. I do it on purpose. I think I'm going to take away that to get more. I need to concentrate now. I think this is great. As one of the developers who played this game, and ID behind my maker, I still have to actually really think when playing the game. Now you see I have a perfect for Thor's hammer. Just cleared out the whole lane. And now you see I'm starting to get some kind of economy up. I'm placing them together now. I have to be smarter on how I do it. 2 of them are always going to take down one buster. And now I have to take away and heal, but I could use this instead. I actually take him away. And now it's 1/3 of the power. Loki reveals himself by mistake. He actually heals Eric. Oops. Boom. And you get his spell afterward. Loki, what are you doing? You're supposed to be on our side. And yeah, what is Loki doing? I'm gonna try to be more efficient. I think I will be able to complete it now. I think feels like it. Now I have enough economy up. But nothing is settled yet. I can't be guaranteed that this will work out yet. But I think I'm on a good... You see the health bar is back on top for him. But now... Yeah, now I'm good. That feels like it. I can start to move the front lines a bit ahead. And he starts to move faster as well. You see he got he's fired up. I think this happens a lot in both in boss fights and in the game in general, that the pacing of the enemy will change as you play it. And I'm using okay, like that. And he's going to penetrate me, so I need to be in enough distance for that. I actually want to have some units up here. Now I actually have to take units actively in and out of harm's way, otherwise they will die. And this is just what happened. The overload is too big, but I can take, if I can take them out in time, I will be able to save them. And it's better with a you know, a unit that's healed. That up against like 3-4 Vikings, it really doesn't matter. And here you have the Kegger with the, you know, I'm just going to take down the, like that. And I'm actively looking for units that are harder, that will damage me or penetrate multiple units. So now I'm looking at the whole gameplay. I'm not looking at just one area to see. So like, how do I actually put my units out at the moment? What kind of units do I put out? Where do I put them out? I'm removing him to avoid getting the, okay, here. Oh, I managed.
And down he goes.
And down he goes. So second playthrough, huh?
Yep.
I managed.
Second attempt.
Second
Not
attempt.
bad.
Let's go to another boss fight. I think that's cool to show. Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
Yeah. Let's move up to Thor. I'm gonna do Thor on hard. I know I'll be able to complete him on brutal, but it might take me a couple of attempts. Or should we do brutal?
Let's do brutal. Let's see.
Okay,
let's see how hard this gets.
Yeah. So, and of course, this is nothing you saw in the former versions of the game.
Yeah.
It's all new content. We really tried hard to balance it out. So it's and many of you may never come to this, but if you do, you're gonna have hopefully a lot of fun with it. So yeah. Got a challenge to the player. I don't know. Actually, it was more of a challenge to ourselves because we wanted to make how can we make the best possible game using this kind of gameplay tools that we have available in this type of game. Okay, so this is Thor. You know, God of Thunder. You all heard of him in a Marvel movie probably, but he creates the thunder and a really cool god character. I really like him actually.
I don't think it's wrong to say that Thor is probably the most popular Norse god.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. He's pretty straightforward. I mean, Thor is Thor, and he's tied to the weather. And Thursday is his day, you know. Yep. Even the name of the day, Wednesday is Odin's day. Friday is Freyr's day. So Freyr's day. So I think that the Nordic god are pretty entrenched in the English world. And now I'm up against Thor. You see, I'm up against some heavy blockers. I have shields against me with spikes and spear, and I have the two goats. Actually, an achievement to kill Thor before you kill the goats, and the goats are gonna be you're gonna see what they're doing. I may not survive this level, so let's see.
We're about to find out.
We're about to find out. And now we shift the setup. So we often try to do this. We shift. There's no spells. There's no resources. We try to make different levels with different. And here you don't have any resources.
No.
There's no resource build up, but they will drop. They come in like tranches or you know certain intervals, and you have to kill Vikings to get resources.
Yeah.
And here you see Thor coming in, whoa, and he will point. Maybe I shouldn't reveal this, but when he points like that, it means a Viking comes in that lane. So he will go up and down and actually show where the next Viking is coming. I know this, of course. New players probably won't, so if you don't see the stream, then you won't. So I know now where to place my early defenses. I also know I'm playing on Brutal. I'm not going to hit around here now, so I'm actually going to set up some pre-warnings for myself. So because I know the goats are going to come soon.
Yeah.
And the goats, what do goats do? Well, they come in and you know use their horns, right? Which means that I need to have units that I can get around and that can actually stop that attack. If I don't have a stop on that, they will just run through and you've lost the game.
Yeah.
And here. So, and again, my key goal here is to get up a cheap defense line, as cheap as possible. I can also do this and stun Thor. It will stop for a little while. And again, you see the health bar at the bottom. The goal is to get him to 0, but he's going to be pretty tricky. He
has a lot of HP.
Has a lot of power. You saw those at Mr. No, there he comes. Okay, so I'm going to die now. Oh. But actually actively look for the goats in addition to what Thor is doing. Just pointed on a unit. I don't have enough. There, I got some new.
Can you kill the goat? Will it come back if it dies?
No, it doesn't. No, it's not like the lore actually. It's, yes, you can kill the goat, and you have to kill the goat. Or you don't have to. Like I said, it's an achievement. But they are quite problematic actually. They're kind of. But I'm using the Buster because he takes the damage. I take him away to heal. So I just pretty much use his key ability. If he was on this damage phase, I could also use spells that are healing spells here, or I could use a shaman that actually heals the units. I'm going to do that on some other levels. What I'm trying to do here is just get a double cheap lineup. And these guys are just pure blockers. They're just tanks, you know. So they take a lot of damage. Okay. And now you saw that I had to act quickly because I want to use that. Okay, so and when he gets close to you, he just falls down and becomes like he just takes bullets pretty much. And he like that. So you see that when I'm playing, I'm using a lot of resources on things that might not look that dangerous. But I just want to clear my playing field and get an economy up. That's pretty much what I'm doing here. While at the same time trying to take enough damage on Thor, because there's a lot of riffraff for Vikings that takes a lot of my bullets.
Yep.
And he's just going to get anger and anger. There's going to be lightning.
Imagine the longer the stage goes on, the more difficult and more problematic things will become as well.
Yeah,
so,
and he starts using lightning against me, takes out random units. You see that his face is turning slightly red. It's a really cool soundtrack to this boss fight as well. I have an amazing composer on this game. He done Narnia, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, tons of Marvel movies, but he doesn't actually do the movies, he does the trailers.
Yep.
So for this we pretend like we actually hired a full ensemble of trolls and gnomes who does the recording. So we made the soundtrack sound like it's a bit off, like big troll hands would play a guitar. So I think that we said to ourselves, what if a troll play a fiddle?
Yeah.
How would that sound like?
Intense, I would imagine.
And somewhat off. They're not. They're kind of like.
Yeah.
And you will feel that here as well. Okay, let's see. And again, you see that I'm always on the verge of my economy here, and I'm now just spared 2 units because I could put in busters to take the damage, and as they heal, I can use them again for that purpose when the goats are coming back in. These also see the goats using the horn to actually chip units further in. Can be really annoying, especially when they're on shields like here. If I had a dragon here, I would burn out those shields right away. By the way, so because fire is very efficient against tree.
So I can understand why focusing the goats would also be a smart thing to do here, given how problematic they are with enemy placements.
Yeah. But I'm actually trying to take. I more than most players would do. I'm trying to take as much damage on Thor as quickly as possible to avoid all the later problems coming. To be honest, I presume that most players would actually spend a good deal of their time just dealing with the damage coming in, and yeah. So actually, I don't have enough. I spent a bit too much resources. I don't have enough to build up a new lane. If the goat comes in here now, I'll actually lose. This is why I'm running on a cheap economy. At least I have some damage going out. And armor and okay. So I think now I'm back in business. I was back in business. Okay, I'm not back in business. Okay. And again, I'm going after Thor. He's my main enemy here. I mean, if I get him, the game is over pretty much. So it really doesn't matter who else is standing here. It's Thor that I have to get to 0. Okay. And I mean, the guy I'm putting against him, the one shot we call him, Thor will actually just crunch him if you put him the wrong way. So actually, I time it a bit now. So I wait until Thor is just finished with an attack. That gives me like half a second to actually unleash an attack, which will stun him for a few seconds, which will stop him from. Yeah, so as you see, I'm thinning out here, big time. So what was control a few seconds or minutes ago is no longer control. Okay. No. And I'm trying to replace my units as fast as I can. All my spells are on cooldown. Okay.
It's gonna be close.
It's gonna be close. If I can get this, if I can do this one, I'm actually gonna be happy. Right now it looks rather bad. And there's an example. Yeah. There you see the Thor and the goats actually working together.
You almost had him.
I always had him. But I was too occupied on the top lane, and he took out with the hammer, and then he sent one of the goats in, and game over.
I really like the progression of that fight too, because it seems, especially the second phase becomes a war of attrition between the two of you, and then the third phase becomes who can kill the other faster.
Exactly.
Where he's throwing everything he has. There were slightly less Vikings around, but the goats are extremely aggressive. He's throwing out everything.
Exactly. And of course, I'm not going to show that to you today. That is the ultimate boss fight, which is Thor and Odin himself, with lava, and there's a lot of really cool stuff. So I think that it would have been wonderful to have even more boss fights, but we actually invested a lot of time, effort, and making those fights different to anything else you experience in the game. So let's move over to winter. So we can move over to winter 7, for instance. So let's do hard.
Winter 7 on hard.
Winter 7 on hard. So here you have some gem deposits. The spawning of moonstone or the resources is going to be slower in the mountains. Some of the levels are actually tied around the fact that you can't find food. Food being rocks or moonstone for a troll. It's I mean, the attention to detail we had is like we actually checked all the rocks we have in Norway. What kind of rocks do we have? What looks cool? What sounds cool? Are there any kind of myths attached to any of them? And then we landed on the moonstone for the trolls. Here I'm gonna have Hildur. I don't have flying units here. I'm gonna try a bit different tactic here. So you see some different units coming up. I still like the movable unit, and I like Buster more than the dwarf. But the dwarf is very efficient against flying and has some use cases, but not for this level. And here you see the explosive units. I mean, you're gonna watch what happens with those. And you see 2 of the mini bosses. There's going to be multiples of those. I'm playing on hard now, so maybe let's see. So if I want to have double the rewards, I put them here. You see they're put on the front lines, right? So
so they're risk reward.
Risk reward, indeed. Going back to double speed, like you don't need to play this, and I'm trying to set up one path. I think I'm just gonna let him go all the way through because he will has a cooldown. So when he takes out the first one, he could in winter they can all become Einherjar. So he might respawn. So I actually have to as a dead. So I have to look out for that. And I'm playing a tight ship here, and he's coming back. So now I actually have 2 places to defend, and I have to do that and like that. I am already in trouble actually, and now I have to. Okay, and I had to take a spell on him, otherwise he would explode all the other trolls. And now, of course, trolls have multiple heads. This is Spitting Gargoyle. He fires in 2 lanes, and now I'm watching the guys down here. I know that I can take this guy. This guy, I doubt that I can stand the whole fight. So I think that I'll be able to take him out almost. I take him for some healing. I put him in the back, but I can't take him too far back because otherwise he would hit the hack as well. Ah, like that. Okay. And he also spits acid. Efficient against armors. We see he can't take, right now he can't take any damage head on. Oh, risk reward, huh? So yeah, risk reward. I'm just gonna help myself because the hammer guy with the shield is pure mayhem. We actually nerfed him a bit because he also had a stun. So
that sounds rough.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't fun because it became too brutal. Okay, so now you see them take out. Okay, I have to be careful now. Okay, so here I have my baseline up. Okay, so now this is my goal of almost every level, which is like the normal build up. My baseline is now up. And now it's a matter of I'm playing on hard now, right? So it's easier depending on how I look at it. And here comes one of the mini bosses. Putting Hilder in, and again he will use the same logic almost as Eric the Red, a bit nicer, but still very powerful. In some levels you have 4 or 5 of these guys running around at the same time, and some of them also comes with goats. So they actually hold the dead goat. All for fun, like that. And actually, I really like that I lost. I lost a couple of levels now, and I think that's actually good. I think that's the difficulty we should adhere to. And
as mentioned earlier, that Jørgen is very, very good at these games.
Yeah,
played hundreds of hours of this game and
thousands and thousands.
And we're top ranked in Plants vs Zombies on the leaderboard, the global leaderboard. So Jørgen is definitely very, very good at these games.
Yeah, I like them, and you know, but the thing is that I never stopped loving this game. So even when we stopped development of it, and it was always on. Like in the back of the mind, it was so cool to revisit it and like remove the yoke of the free-to-play constraints, which is very rarely making games better. And it's actually for this game, it's been so great to actually sit and design a game where we don't have to think about how can we make spells slower so people will buy them. You know, that trash.
Which I think also results ultimately in a better game for players and consumers.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm not speaking down on free-to-play. I think that there's a lot of good things, and on some platforms like mobile, it has to be like that because people just don't pay, most people don't pay. But like for this game, the way it's right now, it means that we can balance everything according to gameplay progression and not spending. So
because of course, in an ideal world, these elements would be nice to avoid. However, the truth of the matter is, if you're going to make a free-to-play game, there has to be some way to monetize it still.
Exactly.
Which, unfortunately, on some occasions does impact the gameplay experience, but that's just the reality. Be able to continue to make more games.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
I think it's in Megapop we are 12 full-time employees and quite a few freelancers, and it's our job. We have to make money on these things, and I think that's the truth of the matter for most games. Oh, get away! Okay, yeah. So he's very powerful because he can take out. And now I'm putting up some heals here, so I can actually stop some of the onslaught. Legelife, or the doc as we call him. We try to give all the trolls really snappy, easy names, to be honest. So it's easy to relate to, and. So I think it's just kind of chill at the moment. I understand it might not be like that for everybody, but now I feel like I have complete control. Actually, there's very little except a couple of those guys, but I take them out, and there's very little right now that can actually truly destroy me. Because I set up such a good baseline, and you see the mini bosses, they keep on spawning in, right? Yeah. Takes a lot of damage, and they also wander around the playfield, and this plays again on the movable stuff, right? So it's not just people or Vikings coming in from the side, but they're also moving back and forth and up and down and stuff like that. So So now I feel like I have control. Just putting more damage. You see, I have lots of. Right now, I have lots of. I have control. So I'm just sitting talking trash pretty much. So yeah. And you see the bar at the bottom. It shows you how far you progressed in the level. And now with healers up and a lot of blockers, I will be able to get through this level quite nice.
Yeah. So even with the 2 mini bosses and second full onslaught of Vikings, not a lot to be done.
No. But of course I knew how to set up the level pretty efficiently. But even then you have to actually think about it differently for each of the levels. So going to try to, what was that? Oh yeah, I got a shard. And here there's some more. We added quite a lot of stuff to the various levels. You've seen some of it now. Like here there are jump tiles. So here we are putting 2 of these things together. The jump tiles obviously will jump. So I took hard difficulty, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to, let's see if I can do it with no ranged. Okay, so let's see if I can actually complete it. I can select more tools. I often like to play like this for myself.
Yeah.
And it's also how we've been designing a lot of the special levels, where I kind of like, oh, that's fun. Oh, that's really fun. Let's make a level around this, and you're gonna get different challenges.
After this level, would you like to show off a Valhalla level?
I can, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think one Valhalla level after this, and then round it off.
That sounds good.
Yep.
I mean, it's like 300 of these levels that the players can jump into themselves, and
there's a lot of stuff to do. A lot of
So you could try it in the demo.
Many levels.
And the game is coming out on the 7th of March, full release, and then you can try all of it. So, I'm using pretty much the same setup. I went now for the
bonus tiles. Yep.
Bonus tiles to get more deposits. I'm putting 3 of them in a row. Right now, I'm playing in a way where I don't have any ranged. I made a challenge for myself here.
No ranged units.
No ranged units. Couple of achievements around that as well. This is obviously gonna be a lot harder for me, but I think I'll manage. Like that. And now again, I'm trying to use units in tandem. I have to watch the damage phases, so I know that I have to heal him right now. And you see, whoops.
I really like the movable units, because that means, me at least, that means that even if you kind of mess up a lane, it doesn't immediately end the game. Exactly. You have a lot of possibility to course correct,
and you can play it by ear as well. A lot of these things, right? So, and now pretty. And if I use like these 2 together with a healer in front and then this, it means that I always have something healing up here. But right now I get up against 2, I need to jump them in and out. So I'm gonna place like that. Oh, and he came on the back row. You saw the tile. I have to remove him before he dies. Guard is gonna take care of that one. Okay.
I think it's a fun thing too, because guard is a very, obviously, guarding the lane.
Yeah.
It's also a very traditional Norwegian name.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think is really funny.
Guard. So yeah, there's a lot of Norwegian going into this game, and we're Norwegians, right? So it's cool to play around with our legacy and our background. And
absolutely.
And now okay, I'm not making it easy for myself, but that was the goal here as well, to see if I could do it actually without any ranged units. What I'm doing now is I'm pretty much looking at the whole playfield at the same time. I'm trying to see what kind of units come in, how do I preemptively put in stuff against them, and at this point there's also the Einherjar, or the dead Vikings respawning, and you also have like the Wolfgang, who just put a buff pretty much on all the Vikings around him. Okay, I'll manage. I managed! Yay! Woohoo! Okay, so okay. 2 Einherjar comes back and
I don't think they can do that much.
No, they can't. Okay, so now we're moving to Valhalla. This is we even got a rune expert actually to write Valhalla
really?
in rune language.
That's super cool.
Of course. So called a cider to get that. So I'm gonna. This just comes in normal difficulty. I think that I got to like level 148 here, but then it becomes unbearable. So right now I'm on level 150. I'm level 50. I'm gonna show you how it works. Each level has 3 levels within it. You have to make 3 levels in a row to get 1 point up.
Yeah.
So if you make 2 and lose the 3rd, you're back to the number you were on. Here, in this level, I have flying units. This is the first time you see them. I have range units, so I know that there's going to be quite a lot of activity on the front lines. I can actually just look at the level. I have a lot of rocks that will redirect the Vikings, but if they have hammers, they will actually take them down. They smash the rocks. So now I need to take out the flying units because they can only be taken out with something that attacks high or with a spell or a zap. So I'm going to use Hildur, like the tosses it takes off her head. And again, I'll probably go for a bit more expensive setup right now. This increases my risk because 200 is a lot of resources to get a unit up. So I'm probably going to be a bit on the back burner to begin with, maybe. So it gives me a bigger chance of a more efficient end game, but it ups the risk of even getting to that level, right? But at the later stages here, there's really no option. You need heavy. You need hard.
You need to be able to deal with the end game. It doesn't help if you can wither the first assault. Doesn't help if you can't take out the last wave.
Yeah. So and here I'm meeting actually some of the worst units in the game. Plus this unpredictableness. So I'm going to place it behind the rocks right now. I mean only the flying, and what I'm trying to do here again, get a good baseline up, and I can also control the playfield myself.
So you can remove the rocks.
I can remove the rocks. There was a chest there. I popped on it. The chest has a chance of spawning Vikings or Moonstone. So you could choose a risk reward. You can get 200 Moonstone. Great. But if a Viking pops, you suddenly have a big problem. Yeah. I took a 50-50 shot that it would go left. Hit it.
He does.
Which helps me build up. Here the Valkyrie come. The Wagner flight of the Valkyries, but the Valkyries are of course Nordic. They came to the battlefield to pick up fallen warriors and bring them to Valhalla, and I think Guard will take care of her. But I'm going to start slowly now building up. Here comes a new one, and now actually building up a defense against that type. Here's the Trolls, so the slaves. Troll is the Nordic name for a slave. They're actually really weak, but they come in foursomes. So
there's a lot of them.
A lot of them, and now okay. And now I'm going on. So my tactic now worked for now. I got massive power up in the lane where it's available. I still haven't met any hammers. I don't think there was any hammers in this game, in this level, and I'm trying to now to preemptively set up a defense and actually protect with these stones that are here. In some cases, I would let the hammers just destroy the lane, so I get more, firing power. Yeah, it looks quite good, and I'm doing the same again. So now you see that I actually have 3 rather well protected lanes that I shaped myself, and I can use them to place things like zaps or just resources like this.
Yeah.
This will backfire the second they come with the hammers, of course. So you actually have to watch the lay of the land of the playfield, and there's a lot of these different elements. Right now there's rocks, there's holes, there's tiles, there's gold or moonstone deposits, and so forth and so on. Here I also have a third spell system. So you see the spells up here, that loads by killing Vikings. It goes from level to level, so I can actually bring it on to the next level. So in the beginning, there's a cooling. So if I press this one, the whole level will cool. The next one is more fire, and the third is like an old Ragnarok on the playfield, which actually takes out almost everything. Sometimes you can use it in early build-up, or just to save yourself, pretty much. Again, you have to consider, do I use it right away? You know, since the cold spell is quite efficient, it still lingers on, helps me for a long while. Or do I wait until it's even more powerful? Yeah. Risk reward. Okay, so I have problems now. I saw because Valkyrie just flew over. I have no air attacks on her. I have to use a spell. I have cooldown on Hildur.
Guard seems to be back up.
He's back up. Cool. And now now this lane is defended against both ground and aerial. I put it up pretty well now. I think I'm pretty happy about my setup right now. I'm sluicing the Vikings into certain, you know, where I want them to be. This won't always be the case, of course. So, there I got more Moonstone. You saw that there's a same chest, right?
Yep.
But now it actually helped me. Okay, so now I have. Okay, AOE in the main lanes. I can take down aerial. I control the playfield. Feeling pretty good right now, actually. Yeah, I think I solved this level. I can feel that. So now I can just kind of wait for the spell to charge up,
and then carry that with you to the next level.
And then just carry on to the next level. And you have to think, and like that. So now I feel like, and these levels just go on and on and on, and they're procedural or not procedural, that would be the wrong word. Yep. They're made in a way that they are, you know, getting progressively harder, but there's a certain randomness to them.
Yeah.
What is coming in the playfield.
So you can play this forever.
Pretty much. No, not forever, because at some point, as you get to like level 100, and I think I managed 148. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be so hard that making 3 in a row.
It's almost impossible.
Almost impossible. So I think that we put the achievement at getting to level 50.
Yeah.
That means you played 150 of these levels. We feel that that's a good bargain.
Yeah.
That's a good bargain. Yeah. And yeah, I made it. That's it. I got one rock. I need 2 more, and then it turns to 52.
Yep.
And I can do one last thing maybe.
Yep.
There's these special missions. This is about the moving units. This is just about getting a lot of hacks on the front lines. This is just about the Valkyries. This is about, you know, breaking up into marshland. This is just the spell units. This is jump tiles all over the place. These are actually protecting mushroom units. This is something you haven't seen yet. So each of them have very specific gameplay purposes. The stilts. I would like to. Can I show the stilts?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I want to show the stilts. So stilts are really cool. Here I have no spells. The game has selected for me the units I can, or we as developers have selected for you what you can choose. And this is about the stilt units coming in. They're kind of tricky actually. Because you need to fire high to get them down on the ground, and they fall down. So as soon as
they're like the Valkyries first, and then they become
exactly. So and I think it was a lot of fun coming up with all these units initially, and
yep.
we picked the same units here, but we changed the use case on a couple of them. But in general, it is the same core. It really functions well. Again, I'm using the rocks. I'm hiding behind them, as you see. I have a sluicing here. We have the jump up tiles where there's going to be spawns coming up. And now I'm trying to set up a... I'm going to speed things up. Someone is trying to call me. My pocket is buzzing. Again, there's no economy build up. So it's a bit of different setup for this. Where are the stilts? I'm gonna build up too powerful before I even get it. So
Here comes.
Yeah, they come. Yeah. You see, I killed the other Vikings, but not the stilts, right? So if I move him over there now, the Viking falls over. So I actually have to actively use units now to make them fall down, and then go back and pick them up.
Deal with them.
Guard took that one out, and when many of them are coming at the same time, it's actually quite complicated because you have high, you have low, you have behind your units. If you try to stop them in any way, and you see here high, takes that one down. But when something high comes in, she will only hit high. So anything close to you that is low,
that won't get hit.
Won't get hit, which means that it's a bigger chance that you actually die. This, you know, he just keep on going. So at this point, it becomes a bit messy for the player. I really enjoy those moments myself when it's a bit messy. Nothing is, you know, because on some levels you feel like, okay, I have the power now.
Yeah.
And I sit back and wait and what will happen. This happens a lot in these type of games, right? But here we really try to mash it up so it feels like there's a, you know, an ongoing dance, like you talked about with the Thor level, right?
Yeah.
Where you have, you know, different stages of the gameplay, and of course here's
how rapidly it can change.
Exactly. So he fell down behind me, and now he's behind the rocks. And you see they also will walk over the rocks. So if I put something here right now, he will fall down and actually be behind the rocks. And I probably have some problem here. Okay, oh shit! I don't have any spells right now. I have problems. And now he's on my back line. I have to wait until he's dead now. And now, okay. Oh, no. Oh no! I put a dwarf in this.
At the very end, too. That was very close.
Okay. Defeat. Oh, that's a nice way to end it.
Yep.
It's up to you now.
It's up to you. You can see how quickly the tide can turn. Even at the very end, when it looks like you have everything under control.
Yeah. I'm really believe that's fun. So that was it.
That's Trolls vs. Vikings Reborn. There's still a lot of stuff we obviously didn't show.
Yeah.
There's hundreds and hundreds of levels. So we all hope you enjoy the demo. That should be out now. And we hope you enjoyed the full game coming on March 7th.
Have fun.
And
it will be complicated.
it will be very complicated.
Bye.
Bye.